Can you find the wolves in this picture?
I can't stop thinking about this film. Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, a true crime western epic that is actually worthy of being called an epic and easily one of the best films of the year. Of the decade? Of Martin Scorsese's career? Okay, let's calm down a bit. There's definitely some recency bias going on, but this is one of my favorite Scorsese films, and I haven't been this passionate about his work in a while. Based on David Grant's brilliant nonfiction book, which I highly recommend, the movie tells the chilling story of the Osage murders that took place in the 1920s in Oklahoma. It's a story of greed and betrayal, of cold-blooded conspiracy against wealthy Native Americans, of corruption, slow justice, and it's a story that a lot more people need to know about. Of course, Scorsese does not shy away from all of the brutality, violence, and pain here, and yet at the center of it all is a love story between Molly and Ernest, which gives the movie a refreshing and complex mix of perspectives. Molly, an Osage woman who sees her community and eventually her own family slowly torn apart by the murders. Ernest, her husband, who thinks he is smarter than he actually is, and who is essentially a pawn in the hands of his uncle, William Hale, and William himself, referred to as King, the mastermind behind the murders, who managed to gain the trust of the Osage only to stab them in the back. None of this is a spoiler, by the way. You can find the wolves in this picture right away, even if you're not familiar with the real story. First of all, this is a film that needs to be experienced on the big screen. And I know what you're thinking. It's 3.5 hours long. It's going to be available to stream relatively soon. I'm just going to watch this from my couch. Thank you. And I get it. The couch is a comfortable place to be, but Killers of the Flower Moon is the kind of dramatic American epic movie theaters are made for. It's a film you get immersed in, from its ominous score and powerful cinematography to the intensity and gravity of every interaction. Because yes, it turns out this movie does need to be 3.5 hours long. Not a single minute of it is wasted, and while you do feel the runtime, you also can't take your eyes off the screen because you're completely captivated by everything you're watching unfold in front of you. This is not the kind of movie you put on pause or look down from to text your bestie. Just trust Scorsese with your time on this one, okay? Second, let's talk about the performances. Even though De Niro and DiCaprio delivering great performances is surprising to literally no one, but we need to talk about them and their characters. Before that though, we need to talk about Lily Gladstone, who really is the heart and soul of this movie. Listen, I've given this some thought because there is no shortage of great performances here between the leads and the supporting cast, but I can confidently tell you that she is my favorite out of the entire cast. If there is one issue I have with this film, it's that I wish we got even more of her perspective, because sometimes I just missed her and I wanted to see more of the events through her eyes. The way she embodies the character of Molly, her screen presence is completely different from everyone else. She carries herself with such a powerful aura of calm, and a single look from her, a single movement of her head says more than words ever could. There are quite a few scenes where you see the rest of the characters being loud and frantic, and she is this amazing contrast to all of that. This also means that when something does make Molly lose her composure, it's so much more impactful and really hits you emotionally. Lily Gladstone is unforgettable in this role. Robert De Niro as William King Hale is honestly more terrifying than I expected, specifically because when he wants to be likable and charming, it comes so easily to him, and you can tell why he is liked and respected in that community. But then he turns around and you see this other manipulative, calculating, vicious, dark side of who he really is, and it's just chilling. DiCaprio as Ernest Burkhart, on the other hand, is someone I immediately found unlikable. He shows you who he is and what he's after from the very beginning. He likes money, he likes women, he's clearly not burdened by morals, and he is easily manipulated. His relationship with Molly is so frustrating to watch because you know he's up to no good and you want her to see him for who he is and get out of this situation. But it's also fascinating because it's not that she doesn't realize he's after her money. She is not just some passive victim, but she sees some sort of good in him. And at the end of the day, this absolutely toxic relationship is the emotional core of the film. Now, there are also plenty of great supporting performances, including Jesse Plemons, Scott Shepherd, Tantu Cardinal, Brendan Fraser, who makes the absolute most of his 5 minutes of screen time, and quite a few more. But the leading trio is truly fantastic, and the conversation about them is easily going to carry over into the awards season. I will say, I did have to sit with Killers of the Flower Moon and let myself process everything I saw. I'm still processing, if I'm being honest. Part of it is that this is simply a lot of movie. It's long, there are a lot of characters to keep track of. It's pretty dense material, but also it's a very bleak story, and watching it unfold takes a toll on you. Adding to that bleakness is the fact that Scorsese favors the perspectives of the villains, and stewing in that environment for 3.5 hours just makes you feel dirty after a while. This is another reason why I really wanted more of Molly's perspective. She is a breath of fresh air in all of this. You're already seeing so much violence and murder, and seeing all of the behind the scenes cold-blooded scheming, you need a different vantage point. In a way, this is a testament to how well the characters are written. They feel so real. There are layers to all of this evil. There's complexity, and at certain points, you catch yourself trying to understand the intentions of some vile individuals. Meanwhile, all of this tragedy is unfolding and nobody is able to do anything about it, so you're just waiting for the next dead body. What I'm trying to say is that the movie is a lot to take in, and it's not just because it's long, it's because things are grim. Even though I knew the story, having read the book, the process of getting through all of this just wears you down. All that being said, Killers of the Flower Moon is undeniably a cinematic achievement and an important story that needed to be told. It's a film that's going to be watched again and again and going to be discussed for years to come. Scorsese crafts his epic Western confidently, respectfully, and with great attention to detail, letting his audience experience the full scope of evil, greed, tragedy, and grief during this very dark moment of American history that's been referred to as the Reign of Terror. He centers the film around Molly and Ernest's relationship, which offers a complex view of the situation from multiple perspectives. He also plays with style, with the movie's opening reminiscent of silent films, and the ending, well, I won't spoil it, but it's an artistic choice you're not going to forget. Not a minute of the film's runtime is wasted. Every line of dialogue is important, and yet sometimes silences speak louder than words. From beginning to end, Killers of the Flower Moon is brilliant cinema. Dark, moving, impactful, powerful, and definitely a must-watch.